With 49 days until Election Day, candidates are once again coming back to Michigan to try and win one of the handful of toss-up states that will decide the election. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, the Republican nominee for vice president, visited an apple farm near Sparta today. News 8's political reporter Rick Albin just returned and is here with some of what he had to say. Rick?
Amber, it was a full house that showed up to hear the Republican nominee on remarks on immigration and inflation. He did talk about those things, but just 2 days after another attempted assassination attempt on his running mate, former President Donald Trump, Vance weighed in on that early on in his speech.
I do that. I want to just address the elephant in the room here, which is, of course, just a couple of days ago, my running mate, my dear friend and our next president, was nearly assassinated again. 2 assassination attempts in as many months, and I think that it's time to say to the Democrats, to the media, to everybody that has been attacking this man and trying to censor this man for going on 10 years, cut it out or you're gonna get somebody killed. I get a phone call, it says Donald J. Trump, so I answer it, and he says, JD, you won't believe it, they just tried to do it again. I said, what did they try to do? He said, well, they just tried to shoot me again. And I said, what? No way. You know, I almost couldn't believe it when he first told me, and I said, oh my God, sir, I'm so glad you're okay, but you know, you're physically okay. Clearly, you wouldn't be calling me. Are you okay in all the ways that matter? And he said, yeah, I'm doing fine. And that's just who he is. He just gets shot, almost shot a second time, and he's totally fine. He was a little annoyed about one thing, though. You know, he was mad because he was on the 6th hole and he was about to make a birdie putt.
Vance went on later in his remarks to once again say that political rhetoric needs to be turned down. He also talked about the 2 issues that he listed as the basis for today's visit. That was inflation and immigration, as I pointed out. And coming up at 5, we'll look at more of what the Republican vice presidential candidate had to say earlier in Sparta. Amber?
All right, thank you, Rick. Michigan Democrats are responding to Senator Vance's visit to Sparta. Senator Gary Peters said in part, quote, under Donald Trump's watch, Michigan lost 280,000 jobs as he handed out tax giveaways to billionaires and corporations. A second Trump term would be even worse, raising cost on Michigan families by nearly $4,000 a year, crushing auto jobs, and ceding Michigan's global auto manufacturing leadership to the Chinese government.